Welcome, everybody, to another episode of the Current Gen podcast. My name is Tim, here with Kyle. Thanks for joining last second, dude, to talk about this game. Appreciate your
No
flexibility this
worries.
weekend. Yeah.
Yeah.
Dan couldn't make it because I think he is dying again. He's died a
We
lot.
poisoned we poisoned him again, so
We
it's
did.
working its way through him. We'll see.
Yep.
We'll just see where he's at the end of this.
That's right. Dan was complaining about tactics games again. We just had enough. He just said something else
Yeah.
about tactics, and yeah, that was it.
He looked at me
We
dead
were
in
done.
my eyes and goes, "I'll never play XCOM." And I'm like, "Okay, I think I'm gonna
And
go
he
off
just
script here." Yeah,
dink, dink,
tinctured
dink.
right in there. Doop, doop.
You're like, Dan, look over there. There's a chocobo, and then that was gave you plenty of time.
It's all he needed. Yeah, just a
That's all
chocobo
it
over there.
took. Well, I hope Dan feels better soon. But I do know this. I think Dan, at least to some extent, I'm pretty sure Jeff also, and then the two of us were all playing Crimson Desert, which is the big
Yep.
game that is out. And honestly, that's the main reason why we're jumping on this call late on a Sunday
Mhm.
night. It's been a really busy weekend. Schedules didn't really align to record until right now. So it's kind of like at or past bedtime for most sane people. But
Right.
just wanted to get a quick episode up and also just talk about our thoughts on this game. We've been chatting about it in our group chat a ton. And so I thought it'd be nice to
A lot of
give
conversation
our
going on.
listeners and yeah, our listeners and viewers an idea of what we think about this game. But before we get into our thoughts on it, Kyle, I'm curious what you thought when you saw the reviews first come in, like the actual numbers. And again, this is one of those cases where I'm not sure the numbers should do too much to sway your opinion. But
Hmm.
what did you think as you saw the numbers roll in? And it's averaging right around the high 70s or maybe right at 80, depending on which aggregate you like to look at.
I
What did you
think
think though as that came in? Is that like that's what I thought? Is that what you thought?
you came in a couple days before it all came near, and you were like, if it's 75, that's fine for me. And like that
Yeah,
75 stood out to me, and I was like, it's probably gonna hit around there. Like it just,
yeah,
big. It just seemed like it was gonna hit around there, but like not for
it did.
malicious reasons. Just like I kind of thought it was gonna be a buggy mess, which it is, but we'll get to that.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah, I mean, there's some kinks in it. I'm interested to know what
for
your
sure.
PC experience has been like. Maybe outside of like pop in and stuff like that. Have you had like a lot of like bugs? The console is
Yeah,
are full of them. Okay, so it's an across the board thing.
it's
Okay.
it hasn't been too bad. It hasn't been too bad for me. I'll talk about that
Yeah.
in a little bit. But I'll tell you when I saw the reviews, I really did believe that if it's as long as it's above like a 75, like I'll still feel good about my pre-order and I'll be excited to play
Yeah.
it the moment it's available. But there was part of me that was just hoping like could this thing hit like a 90 and just be that game that brings everyone together because it's just so good and it's impossible. Like that's what I was hoping for. I was hoping
Yeah,
for
I like it.
an Elden Ring or Tears of the Kingdom like review where it's like, hey, there's a few outliers who don't like it and that's okay, but most of us it's a dream. And so when I saw those numbers, I was a little bit like, oh man, it's not going to be like a home run for everyone. And then that's when I
Yeah.
think a little bit of that fear kicked in of, well, does that mean it's not going to click for me? Because that does happen
Yeah.
sometimes, when people are like, hey, this game's pretty niche. You need to really be a certain type of gamer and a certain amount of patience. I was like, ooh, is that going to be me? I don't know. Now, to be clear, in 2017, Breath of the Wild was my favorite game that year. In
Yeah.
2022, Elden Ring, my favorite game of that year. In 2023, Tears of the Kingdom, my favorite game of that year. So I like games that throw you into an open world. It's got an adventure with a story, but maybe not really the thing that made you buy the game was the narrative, even if there are some decent moments in that
That all
narrative.
lines.
It's just it's an open world sandbox, man. Go do what you want. Here's a bunch of tools and crazy abilities and gear, and there's stuff in every corner. Like just go find everything. And
Hmm.
uh, and so I was holding out hope that's what this was, and I've heard a lot of people describe it this way. And I'll tell you, that's to me that's exactly what it is. It is an open world sandbox action adventure game. I know people are really dogging on the story. I'm not that far into it that I can tell you I have a strong opinion on the story, but I think it's fine. It's pretty. I don't know. It's
Yeah.
not like blowing
Yeah.
me away, but it's also not bad. I don't know. I don't know what the
Yeah,
deal is with
the
the story.
story is just kind of like I got to get my band of boys back together.
Yeah,
Like that's kind
we
of
got we got destroyed,
and
and
I'm
so now it's
a
time to like yeah
I've been playing a while now and specifically focusing on that stuff, only to find out like, oh, that's the game is like is getting the band back together and stuff like
yeah
that. So that is kind of the
yeah
story, and maybe getting revenge on bear people. I don't know, or the
Yeah.
Bear Clan or whatever. But
Yeah,
like,
you're
yeah,
like the wolfy people and they're the bear people and you don't like each other.
but
Got it.
like all the like
Yeah.
weird technological stuff that's going on, like in the sky, and there's no explanation for. I'm
No.
again, I'm pretty far in the game, and like at no point has anyone gone like,
Yeah.
let me explain to you what all that's about. It's just
Yeah.
like it's just set dressing, I guess. I don't know. Maybe at
Does
some
it
point
give
it'll
you
get
little
more.
vibes of like Animus Assassin's Creed stuff a little bit?
Yeah,
Like some of
especially the
the
loading screens.
futuristic
Yeah.
futuristic like magic people too that are like they have abilities and they're floating them over to you and it's like, oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah. There is some of that going on there for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, there's another Assassin's Creed stuff. Like even some of the combat is kind of Assassin's Creedy with just
Yeah.
being on the shoulders and maybe some of the weight, of it,
Yep.
of your character moving around and stuff. But yeah, I kind of I was one of the people who were maybe most hyped for this. So it was very
Yeah.
strange when I started playing the game 2 or 3 hours in, and it wasn't clicking at all for me.
Yeah. I could tell you were kind of bummed about that. I was like, man, I hope it
Yeah, I
picks
was
up
like,
for
well,
him.
yeah, I'm gonna figure it out. Like it's one of those things where I know, like just like you, all the things that you said are all ingredients I like in a game too. Like put me in an open
Yeah.
world, go off in any direction. Red Dead Redemption 2 style hunt animals in every
Yes.
area until you can like
Yeah.
put them in like your little, Rolodex or whatever of information.
Yeah.
You're constantly getting knowledge and you're observing things and getting moves and like I just like all those ingredients and stuff like that. So
Yep.
like I'm gonna be
Dude,
patient
even
with
going
this.
to a vendor and just hovering over an item so you can gain the knowledge point for that thing, just
Yeah,
like gaining the
I know what
knowledge.
that is
Like,
now. Yeah.
yeah,
Yeah, but like, I don't know what. I mean, it must have been 8 hours I was in, and I put this in the chat. I had no idea you're supposed to hold down the buttons to attack to the combos. I had no idea. So there was a lot of the game. I beat like two bosses where I'm like, when you press the buttons, it doesn't really work. So like, I'm like, is there something not responsive, or do I have to like
yeah.
plant before I attack? Like there was a lot of things, and I just wasn't getting it because I'm an idiot and wasn't holding down the combo.
You're not an
And
idiot. No
holding.
one knew that. And so it's one of those things too that I was like, well, maybe they're MMO devs. So what if I played this a little more like an MMO with the controller? And so even your basic attack, if you hold it, you'll just do all these like your
Yeah,
light attack combos. Little things like that I just played around with and I was like, oh crap. Like
because the game
if I
doesn't
play this a little
explain
differently,
anything.
it's amazing. Yeah. Yeah.
It's not like the game goes hold down to attack. Well, maybe it does, but I
It
missed it. But like this game doesn't say
right.
anything, so I feel like I'm hedging my bets here by saying it didn't say
Kyle, I'm going to
anything.
forgive you if you missed a tutorial or two, because for all the times this game doesn't explain stuff to you, it also does explain a lot to you. And that should tell everyone who hasn't played this yet how much there is in this game. Like, I
Yeah,
still feel like there's entire systems that I could experience that I haven't seen anything about yet. I haven't seen any tutorials on it yet. And then there's
yeah,
other systems that I should know that I'm like, man, I just breezed through that tutorial and I did not pay attention. I have to go back now and read it. Like, for example, there's a bunch of elements, especially early on, maybe as the game progresses, where you got to put on this special gold helmet to look at the memories,
yeah.
and you have to use your lantern in a certain way. And I was just having the hardest time
Arkham.
figuring out
It's
how
called
do I
Arkham
turn on
Neat.
my lantern, how do I aim my lantern. I keep holding up my shield. How do I
Hated all
switch
that
that? Like
because it
all
doesn't
these
explain
little
anything. Yeah,
quirks of like how the frick do I equip this lantern so I can finish this little quest. Little moments like that certainly kind of
yeah,
caught me. And then once you get into the groove and realize the weird button configuration, and it's not even the button configuration, it's the sequencing of like you got to
yeah.
hit that, you got to hold this,
A
select
lot of
that, but then you got to
shift,
hold this
hold,
button in. Yeah,
yeah,
it's very
hold
strange.
L2 to shift. Yeah, there's a lot like there's 100 different button prompts, and there's like what 24
Yes.
buttons on a controller or whatever. I don't know what the actual count on that. But like, there's a lot of like double duties that the
Yeah.
buttons are doing. So I'm jumping when I'm trying to talk to people.
I
I'm
jump all the, let me
yeah.
catch this grasshopper. Nope, just gonna
Yeah,
jump. All right,
yeah,
cool.
yeah.
Yeah, a lot of that.
And it's
A
another
lot of
thing that I didn't realize that if you just hold down square for me, and while you're like walking around, you'll just auto pick up everything. So like I've been, you know, not doing that right either. You know what I mean? There's just a lot of things that I just haven't been doing right the entire game. And at some point, 20 hours in, I'm like, oh, this is how you do that. Okay, that makes sense to me.
yeah,
And that's
yeah,
annoying, but also there's something kind of gratifying about like, well, I got by, not
right.
knowing that for this long, and now I do know that it's going to be easier. So, and yeah,
Yep,
and a lot
that
of the
does make it easier because the game does not highlight for you what can be picked up until you're within
no,
pickup range. And so that's
Yeah.
one
There's
thing.
not a
And by the
glowing
way,
thing. You don't have like
yeah,
an eye that like highlights everything. You don't have anything like that. So it's
yeah, there's
just
no
like,
eagle eye or like scan that I'm aware of.
yeah,
Witcher, Assassin's Creed, these games all have some way that you can highlight stuff that you can interact with. This doesn't really have that I know of yet. I mean, maybe there's
yeah.
something. I know you can use that kind of that light thing where you hold out your sword. You're holding the two kind of shoulder buttons, and you can
Hmm.
kind of highlight big things in the environment. Like, oh,
Yeah,
there's a fast
fast
travel
travel
point. There's a
points,
yeah, yeah.
like temples, so you can get like extra
Or
artifacts and stuff
the
like
little
that.
artifacts. If they're one of
Yep.
those nearby, it'll highlight one of those. But it doesn't. It's not going to highlight everything. It's not going to highlight every bug you can pick up, every plant you can pick.
And you don't know
You
what
just
you're
have to
going
walk
towards until
around
you
to
get
do that.
there. So,
Yeah,
like yeah,
yeah.
well, yeah, that's the other thing is that like if you just look at the ground, there are bugs everywhere that you can pick up. There
So
are
many.
birds everywhere
Yeah,
in the sky. There's particle effects going on everywhere. I mean, like I can't
yeah,
believe this game runs at all. Like,
yeah.
yes, there's a lot of problems with this game. There's a lot of jankiness and stuff like that, but like I'm just shocked at all. I think Digital Foundry even said the same thing. They're like, yeah, there's a lot of problems, but the fact that this game is running at all is insane to us. So,
Yeah, yeah,
I
I agree.
a couple patches. I mean, this game's going to be singing, And in terms of my not clicking with this game, once I understood the combat, which again I felt very stupid once it all
Took a
clicked. I'm like,
minute.
oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yep.
And then I was parrying and I was dodging and I was upgrading my
Yeah.
skill tree. So like I was being able to parry while I was attacking and stuff like that. So for people like me who want to push the attack a little harder, I have that choice and I can still kind of engage in parries and stuff as well. And I just became unstoppable. And then I just went on a boss killing spree. And I was just this game. Nothing in this game is holding me back. I keep on hearing about how hard it is. Don't feel it. Don't know if that's later maybe, but like it
Yeah.
seems very easy to me. You can have as many healing items as you want, so it's like if you do
Oh
walk into a
yeah, there's
situation
cooking.
and you're yeah, just
Hmm.
cook, just like in Breath of the Wild, walk in with 1,000 steaks, so you never here, I haven't even found these mechs yet. That's really cool.
Neither have I. I remember
um
seeing this in the trailer. Like, what are we doing? Yeah, this is
yeah, what
wild.
is this game? Yeah, what time does this
Yeah.
game take place in? There's just so much to it, and I guess another thing for
Yeah.
people who are feeling like overwhelmed, like I don't know where to go or what to do or what system to engage in. I will say, if you just stick to the main quest actually hits every mechanic naturally and organically along the way.
Yeah.
So it's like you'll do a mission where it's like, I'm going to go, okay, we have to get rid of this buggy that we stole. So I'm going to go sell this buggy. Oh, that introduces you to the fencing ring. But you can find the fencing
Yeah.
ring right away in the beginning of the game and start fencing carts before you even like get to that point in the mission. So like again, and like you stumble across the gambling den really early in the game, but like 20 hours in, there's a mission that's just like we're gonna go to the gambling den real quick, and then like that's obviously like a
That
natural
could be an
place
intro
where
to it.
yeah. So it's like I'm telling you, every single mechanic, and for a game that doesn't explain itself, is introducing every mechanic pretty naturally. If you're just playing
Yeah.
the main story and engaging with the gray beard or gray, I don't know what they're called, the gray wardens, I don't know.
The gray
Gray
mains.
something. Gray mains. There we go. There's so many
Yeah.
video game gray things. The gray
Yeah.
Jedi.
I know.
Yeah, I don't know. And yeah, I guess some of the complaints were about like the character. Like, I don't know. Cliff's just like a gruffy, like Geralt type, but like less
Yeah.
interesting. But like, I don't care. I'm not here
Yeah.
to. It doesn't bother me at all. Like, I want to know what's around this corner. Like, what's he climbing up towards? I want to know that. That's what's
Right.
interesting to me
Yeah.
about this game.
I agree. I did this thing. Is it in the early first area where I noticed a shining thing up on this cliff? So I climbed up there to get it. It was an abyss artifact, and so I grabbed it. And then I just decided I was just trying to like look around the environment. Where else can I go? And I guess I didn't realize I heard the weird noise, and then all of a sudden I saw my health depleting, and then I died. I was like, "What just happened?" And I'm just
Oh well.
standing by these plants. I was like, "What is going on?" So it's asked me if I want to use one of my items to reload with 30% health. I was like, all right, let's do that. And I look around, there's these blue glowing plants that are kind of reaching for me as I get close to them.
What?
And
I've never even seen
they killed me like instantly. And I got too close to them again. I thought maybe I can slice them. Can't slice them. They will kill you instantly. So
Oh wow.
little things like that. I was like, the game didn't warn me. It didn't give me like a, hey, don't go near these things. Look out for the blue. Like it didn't do that. It just killed me. And so now I know don't go near the
Mhm.
blue plants that are glowing and reaching for you. That's not a good sign if that's
Yeah.
happening. So
Okay.
stay away from those.
I'll
But yeah,
double check that.
there's so many moments that I've hit in this game where I'm kind of like I'm expecting okay, maybe this is where it'll kind of lose me. Maybe there's a little bit too much complexity here, but it's just simple enough. All the different things they add have been just simple enough and it works kind of intuitively. Like even that stuff like the double jump or the way the
Yeah.
glide works or the way the powers work to solve a puzzle. Even if it doesn't explain everything, to me it's still relatively intuitive and I'm like, "Oh, okay, that makes sense. I'll figure that out." So there hasn't been a moment that I've thought this is bad. It's more of like, man, I can see how someone would get frustrated here. Like I'm glad I figured it out, but
Hmm.
I can see how that'd be a little frustrating at
Same.
times. Um,
Yeah.
but that doesn't mean, I mean, the combat is a blast. The combat is really fun. I
It's
think
kind of Final
it's
Fantasy
very
15
fast.
with the way that you like can
Yeah,
like hold down and dodge, and like it's very
yeah,
like
I
that to
agree with
me.
that. Which for a lot
And
of
yeah,
people
it's
was the
fast
strength of that
paced,
game.
you
But
know. Yes,
yeah,
yeah,
I
it's simple.
agree.
It's simple, but actiony. So
Yep,
not the
yep,
action kind of character action game I thought it was like from the trailers. Like it's a different
right.
thing going on here for sure.
It is different. Yeah.
And I think it is just kind of a mixture of like what we were just talking about,
Hmm.
and while being its own thing, I don't really know. But like, yeah, it doesn't really fit into like any kind of existing genre. It's just kind of a
Yeah.
weird kind of action thing. And again, I think the skills that you level up really accentuate and add a lot of depth to
Oh man.
kind of what's already there.
Yeah.
And the boss
You
fights
can
are
unlock
fun.
some
All right.
really. You can unlock some really wild moves. Like the wrestling moves are hilarious to me. Like I wonder which
Yeah,
devs were big wrestling fans that let you do like a
sure.
RKO type move and a body slam, all this crazy stuff. Just the launch is also funny. When you can just pick
Hmm.
them up and just throw them. So I like that stuff. I like that there's even like an unarmed approach if you want to go with like bare hands to fight. I haven't tried much of that, but I know you can. You can level that
Yeah.
up even. You can put some points into that. But I really dig the sword and shield combo. Like you mentioned this too. I only recently started some of the two-handed weapons. I tried the spear, which was really cool. Nice way to kind of clear a lot of enemies. You can do these stabs and these sweeping moves, which is great. But you were right. The long sword is where it's at, man. That thing does so
Yeah.
much damage and is really
It's
satisfying.
not slow. Like you're
Right.
swinging that thing pretty fast. Like
Yep. I haven't tried this yet. I haven't tried dual wielding yet. I've only
I
done
haven't either. Yeah, I haven't
the
tried
other
dual
ones. Yeah.
wielding much.
but uh but the combat does feel good and there's almost too many moves available to you, so it's best to kind of pick what are the ones I want to really get good at and just try those out, figure it out, because they also
Yeah.
combo together a lot of times. Some of your big slam moves do great at the end of a different combo, or they can kick
Hmm.
off a combo. You can get some where you jump in the air and launch into a crazy stab move, and you can use your spirit attacks along with your regular combat
Right.
attacks, and there's just so much you can do. And I think the main world mobs that are just the little enemies running around, they're all pretty easy. They can overwhelm you sometimes if you're not careful, but they're so easy. They die really quickly.
Yeah.
So it's a great way to test out your move set, try maybe a new combo, try a different move. And you can respec. So if you've used your skill points, you can use an item. You get a couple of them at the start of the game by I think automatically, like one or two automatically,
Mm,
and it does
which is nice.
reset all your skill points. But I would recommend like try a full build. Level up for a little while first, and just try to build something out. Don't waste those too early. And then that way, if it's not working for you, you want to focus on something else. Maybe you did too much of bow and arrow, and you find you don't really use it that much, and you can always respec later and focus on something else.
Hmm.
But uh, but yeah, I like the skill tree stuff. It's pretty intuitive. It makes sense. It took me a second, but once you get into it and poke around and try some
Yeah.
things, totally makes sense. My experience on PC has been quite good. I play on a pretty decent rig. I think my graphics card is like 2 generations behind now. Um, Whatever, 2 years behind. I don't know. It's not like old, but it's also not definitely not the top of the line.
Hmm.
And so I run most games on my 2K monitor, my 1440p monitor, essentially what is 2K, and it looks really good. I can run it at ultra settings and get about. It usually hovers around 80 to 90 frames per second, so it's nice and smooth. Um, I think it looks great. I think it runs great. I've had a couple of artifacting or like clip in type issues here and there. Some of it's just like the game is kind of has a bug of like an NPC loads weirdly or won't let you talk to them or
Hmm.
whatever. I've had to reload once or twice for some of
Had to
those
reload a few
things.
times. Yeah.
Um, but but overall, my PC experience has been, I think, quite good. I'm not surprised by that. I think this is a PC first dev. That's what their
Yeah.
first game
Yeah.
was
Yeah.
focused on. But I know consoles have had a lot of issues trying to figure out what's the right balance between making the game look good but run smoothly. So that certainly is a challenge. And like you said, it is a shock that this game runs as well as it does. But I think if you're a 4K person, you're going to have a pretty beefy rig to get this to run at 60 or above. If
Yeah,
you really want it
for
to be at
sure.
full 4, they have a cinematic quality, which is one level above ultra. And so I think that's where things start really cooking. So you better have a lot of RAM and a good card and a nice monitor for that to be worth it. So, but but yeah, I mean, I love stuff like this, like the scenery, and we've talked about this before. Again, Zelda
Yeah.
games, Elden Ring games, even stuff like Skyrim, which I didn't get as into as some of you guys did, but I understand the appeal of stuff like that, where you just look at this whole scenery and you're like, I can go anywhere, I can explore all this
Hmm.
stuff. Like, there's probably stuff for me to do everywhere, and that's appealing to me. And so when the storyline is either predictable or maybe not that intriguing, or characters are just kind of like, you know, by the book fantasy character who needs a help, with a pig or whatever, it
Yeah.
doesn't bother me because that's not really what I'm here for, I guess. I felt the same way when I played Elden Ring and the Zelda games. I'm not really here to be blown away cinematically with your story that's going to make me feel things. That's why
Yeah.
stuff like The Witcher was so unique, because it had the gameplay and the
I had all
exploration,
that.
and
Uh,
it had incredible story. And so, but you knew what you were getting with a CDPR game there too. So,
yeah, for sure.
um, but what do you think about the way they do like inventory upgrades too? Because at first I thought, oh no, inventory is going to be a
Oh
problem in this
yeah,
game, and then I
there's
realized
a lot
quickly,
of
no, it's not.
inventory and equipment is strange in this game. But yeah,
Yeah.
you start out with 50, which I hear when reviewers got a copy of this, it started off with 20 and key items counted against your
Ooh,
inventory. So it's like
that's not
like
good.
people were like, I don't even know how to play this game. So a lot of
Yeah.
bad reviews outside of like performance stuff, which I think still needs to be patched in. It is a pretty janky game, especially on consoles, which I'll get to in a little bit. Um,
Yeah.
I don't know. Well, I guess speaking on that, my experience with them being on consoles is it's been pretty bad. I think on PS5 Pro, I think Dan's probably having a better time than I am.
Probably.
It runs pretty rough. I had to put it in balanced mode. I started with balanced mode at first, and my console did not like that, or the game didn't like that. It kept on hard
Oh,
freezing my
really?
system every time I went into um, like the map and stuff like that, like hard freezing. Like I haven't seen a game do that since like Cyberpunk, for some people,
You
which
found the
I
combination to break everything. Yeah,
yeah,
that's
it's just by
crazy.
going into your map. That's it. But
While in balanced mode.
while in balance
Jeez.
mode. So I instead went into whatever the quick mode is, performance, I guess is what it is,
Performance,
and
yeah.
yeah, and it's way better. It's just a lot of pop in. So like as you're walking up, like details are boop, 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 boop,
The
popping in
quality's a
like
little
right in
less,
front
huh?
of you.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
quality's a little less for sure. It looks a little muddy and stuff like that, but boy, it you need to run in this game at like 60 frames or plus. Like
Yeah.
it is just like
The
smoother.
combat
Like
lends itself to
the
wanting it to be
combat's
smooth for
accentuated by it.
sure.
I got better at the
Hmm.
combat once I put it into 60 frames. Like it
Yeah.
kind of all clicked a little more. So it's just quicker. I
Yeah.
think everything was just registering the way it was supposed to. But boy, yeah, there's a
Yeah.
lot of pop in. I'll take the pop in though.
Yeah.
It's whatever. I can ignore it. And again, I think that stuff is going to get patched out and stuff like that.
Yeah. I
But
agree. I
yeah,
agree.
I'm really enjoying the game quite a bit though. Like I feel like I came into it really high. First few hours were like really low, and now I'm like in a really high place with it again. And again, I think a lot of the people who were having problems with it, who were reviewing it in the industry and stuff like that, brought a lot of negativity and from their own experience because the game was in such a poor state when they got it for review, and there was not a lot of
For
quality of life
sure.
stuff that were initiated yet, like 50 inventory stuff like that. And back to your original question for inventory and how I think it works. I thought it was going to be a problem at first, but yeah, after you
Yeah.
just doing side missions, you get 3 extra. Going to every vendor, you can buy an extra little bag, and they'll get an extra slot in there for you. And at this point, I have like 150 slots or whatever.
So much space.
I don't have a problem anymore.
Yeah.
But what's weird is there's no storage chest or anything like that, so you can't put anything anywhere. Everything is on you. That's on you.
That is odd.
It is really odd. You also can't unequip your sword and shield. Like that always has to be equipped, some version of it. So if you want to use the longsword, as you probably saw, the longsword equips into like your like extra hand,
Yeah.
inventory
Same
slot
as
or
your
whatever.
pickaxe or your logging
Same as your
axe. And
pickaxe, same as your
yeah.
broom, all that stuff.
Yeah.
So I thought that was very interesting,
Really
that it's
weird.
like, no, 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 you have
There's
to
not like
do
a
that.
committed like secondary weapon slot. It's more like an
No,
it's almost like a tool slot, but that's where your
the game
secondary weapon
really
also
wants you to
lives.
play sword and shield. They like where they're just
Yeah.
like, that's who this character is. He's a sword and shield
Yeah.
guy. So, but I'm refusing all the way. I'm like, no, even though it is fun, I do like it. I like the shield bashes.
Yeah.
I like a lot of the moves and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just like my big sword guys. That's how I play like all these types of games. So, and the fact that it's just so quick
Yeah.
and so good. But I don't know. I think they're gonna fix a lot of that stuff. They're already talking about putting chests in. They already put
They
their
should.
first update in for quality of life for PC. Console will be sometime this week as well. I mean, I'm sure they're going to add a lot of like fixes and stuff like that. This game kind of came out a little gooey in the middle. You know what I mean? It's kind of
That's a good way to
baking
put
in
it.
lifetime. Yeah, it's kind of baking in lifetime in our homes right now. So
Yeah.
give it a couple weeks, it'll be a little better. Give it a couple months, I think it'll be good. Maybe give it a year or
Yeah.
so, it might be great by then. I don't know if we're
Yeah.
looking at like a cyberpunk like story, because there were a lot of people who gave this game tens, like, and nines, which kind
Yeah.
of why it's at that like 7.8 to 8 kind of range, because a lot of people
Because
gave it fours and
there are some
fives
outlets that gave it
too.
like a 4 and a
Yeah,
5.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like it literally ran the gamut, and I think some people are having patience with it, and I guess that would be my advice is like, if you just like take some breaths and just kind of stick to the main quest and just kind of let the game kind of show itself to you, and then as you're comfortable start like wandering off and doing all the big stuff
Yeah.
that you want to do in these games, I think you'll find it a lot more appealing. And I think once there's that recalibration period's kind of over of how the weird controls work and how all the buttons are just like off and nonsensical, which apparently they're going to
Yeah.
fix that too. Which I don't know how. Now I'm used to it. Don't fix it.
I'm used to it
Yeah.
too.
Or
Yeah.
yeah, give me an option to just stay the same if you are going to fix it. But
Yeah.
Witcher 3 went through a lot of this stuff too, where it changed its inventory and
It
it
did.
changed the way that like gear worked and stuff like that, and it changed the way that a lot of stuff worked. So it's like, I don't mind a little gooey in the middle. You know what I mean? Like, I don't. That's okay for me. And
Yeah.
I think this game is really delivering for me. So I'm maybe closer to like the really positive side of things than I am the fours and fives out there. But if you came up
Yep.
to me and that game is a 4 all day, I'd be like, yeah, it is to some people, and you're right. Like, I'm
Yeah.
not gonna argue with you. So
Yeah, I mean some of the character animations and the dialogue is a little silly. Sometimes the dialogue will read on the screen something that the character didn't say.
oh
I
yeah,
talked to like 5 NPCs in a row and they all said the same thing. There's like there's at least 5 men in the first town that are all excited because their son called him Pa for the first time. And they just kept saying like that
oh,
was the thing they kept saying.
I thought it was
I was
just an
like,
epidemic of new fathers in town.
yeah, new fathers whose kids just started talking that day or whatever. So, like little things like that kind of make me chuckle. And I think it's just because we're so familiar with open world games now, and there's those elements that just I don't know. I never really think about them as a pro or a con for the game. It's like, all right, this
Yeah.
is just part. It comes with the territory. It does feel a little bit at times like as lived in as the world looks. I almost wish you couldn't greet every character. Just let them kind of
Yeah.
and
Yeah.
like kind of maybe sometimes randomly talk to you as you walk by or something. Because I have a problem. I want to greet like so many like, oh, there's a button I have to interact with
Yeah.
somebody. Oh
I have
no,
to
they're not
press that
important.
button.
Like
Yeah.
it's
I feel that
I got to
too.
do that. So I do get a little distracted with the amount of things you can. I mean, you can pick up almost everything in this game too. Do you want to pick up this chair? Like, I guess what happens if I pick up the chair? Nothing. You can just
It
pick it
takes up
up
an
if you want
inventory
to.
slot and you can sell it for a coin. That's it.
And some of the stuff you can just pick up and carry, like a big old barrel. You can pick it up if you want. Like, why?
Yeah.
Why are you letting me pick up this
Or
barrel?
a
Like,
body. Like,
to,
oops, I guess I picked up this body now.
yeah, I
I
guess
was
I'm
trying
just
to
gonna
skin
pick this up.
I was trying to skin a deer, but now I'm picking up its corpse and,
Now I'm just
throwing it
carrying it.
somewhere.
By the way,
So
is that the only way to like learn about? Because there's no scan. You learn about animals by picking them up, right? Like that's what I've
yeah.
learned so far.
Yeah.
Is, okay.
Yeah.
You're not like looking through any kind of spyglass or just zooming into kind of like Red Dead Redemption style where you would just zoom in on
Yeah.
them or whatever. Like no, this is you have to pick them up. So you got to pick up a bird and hold it, and then it'll say knowledge acquired, and you can put it back down if you want, or you can
Mm,
keep it,
yeah.
and you could cook it. But by the way, a couple of things that I learned playing around with the light ability, where that blinding flashlight, where you kind of
Mhm.
hold the LB and RB or L1 R1 at the same time. You can use that to burn stuff. I didn't realize that till just now. You probably figured that out, but you can
Yeah.
use it to
Yeah.
burn
The
things.
vines.
Yeah, you can burn the vines. You can save yourself an arrow or a fire arrow, whatever. You don't have to worry about trying to find a brazier to light your arrow on fire. You can just use that. You can also cook meat. You drop meat on the ground and just cook it.
I didn't know
I
that.
tried that too. Yeah,
Okay,
you can
all
cook up
right.
the meat. I was
That's
like, sweet. Not that not
they
that
do.
you need
Who
to, but
thought of that? You know, like someone was like,
I don't
someone's
know.
gonna try this. You know, like
Yeah.
I think that there it was a like we're not saying no type of philosophy to this game because they didn't say no
Oh
to
yeah.
anything. You know,
I
anybody who
know.
ever saw a mechanic in any game ever
Yeah.
wrote it down and they put it in this game. Like
That's
it's
true.
pretty wild to me.
They did just say yes to everything. That's
They
exactly how
really
to
did,
describe this
yeah.
game.
Like the stuff I'm doing right now, I'm like I have my camp really built out right now, and I'm like sending. There's a whole economy there, and you're doing all this like
That's
economy like
crazy.
adjusting. Where hey, if I send my guys out to do this thing and like build a bridge or whatever, it's gonna take some of my lumber away, but I also have to pay my guys, so it's gonna take some of the money away from my camp. So I'm gonna need to send a group of people to go do guard duty somewhere to make money for the camp. And then I'm gonna need to send a group of people to go cut down lumber, and then I'm gonna need to, after those things are done, send people out to go build that bridge. You know, and then I get renown in the area or stuff like that. So like, there's all these like little things I have to do, but like, there's plenty of times where like I sent people out on a job and my camp ran out of money, so they just quit and came back home. They're like, dude, I can't be out for free. So there's a I'm telling you, there's
It's
an
crazy.
like a city builder type of economy thing going on here. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's what they did with Red Dead Redemption 2's camp, and like just like expounded upon in every way
Expanded big
possible.
time.
But like it's kind
Yeah.
of the same thing. You're kind of showing up. You're going to a chest. You're dropping your extra gear, as you know, and that's a currency. Like for you're dropping extra food, and that's a currency for for your camp and stuff like that. And you're having to your guys go out and get that currency, but you're spending currency to get certain currency. So it's like there's this give and take kind of economy going on there with the way that you're handling missions that you're sending out your teammates to go do.
Mm.
And it's only activated through in-game hours, so it's not like you can like set it up and like log off and go on. You have to like send people out to go do stuff, and you just
Oh,
have to go
it's like
play the
active
game.
hours.
Yeah, it's
Okay.
active in-game hours. So
Okay.
um, it's cool, man. I really like it, and I've been doing that for
Yeah.
hours now. I don't even know what
Yeah.
the rest of the game is like because I've just been doing that.
So this is one of the
Uh,
first mini bosses that you face here in the
yeah,
town, and I found this fight to be really fun. It's the first time you
nice.
learn a
Okay.
move, like the first time I learned a move from it, kind of in action by observing while they were fighting me. I thought that was fun. It's a cool mechanic that they add to this game. If you look at your skill tree, it'll even tell you sometimes some of these moves you have to acquire by observing it, and so that's kind of cool. I
Hmm.
like that. And but then you get to the first real boss, which you talked about, and there certainly is a difficulty spike compared to what you've had before. It's still not insanely hard.
Yeah.
I didn't die, but I did find myself struggling a bit. Like I couldn't get the timing on the dodge or the blocking right. Like the attack patterns were just way different. So I did find
Hmm.
myself being like, man, do I stink at this game? Do I just need to unlock more abilities and all this? So there is still going to be a little bit of that push and pull, and I want that in a game like this. I want me to be like,
Yeah.
okay, I got to improve. I got to get better gear. I got to get better skills, or I just need to improve on how I play. So I'm okay with that too. I don't want it to be a cakewalk the whole time. So
Yeah. And
that
there
first
is
boss
a
fight was a little challenging compared to the other stuff I had faced.
It really was. I struggled a little bit on that boss fight as well, and probably to date that's still been the hardest boss so far, just because you do get so much more powerful and you do get so much better at the game and the way that the game needs you to respond and stuff.
Yeah,
That yeah, the very first time I went into like an enemy controlled area where you have to like whittle down the percentage of a base like to from the 100% to
yeah,
zero. I mean, I must have killed like 500 guys like at this like rock quarry. I mean, it just kept going on and on and on, but it
yeah.
was fun. I loved it, and like the
You're a
only thing that was
mass
killing me is
murderer.
I mean, it was horrifying how many people you had to. But like hours ago, I wouldn't have been able to stand 5 seconds in that fight. But like getting to where I
Yeah,
was and like finally walking into that quarry and just like massacring just a legion of people, I was like, this is kind of like Dynasty Warriors y, you know what I mean? Without it being like
yeah.
too, you're not
I was
like
gonna
hitting
ask you
1,000
if you feel
people
like
away
there's a
from you.
little bit of a Muso element, like a
So
little bit of a
you're get
Muso element to
I'm
some of it.
getting I feel like regular guys feel a little muso-y and like big
Yeah,
bosses, Elden Ring is not right. This is not these are not like comparable games in my opinion, but like but
I
harder
agree.
difficulty spikes in a big way, where you have to kind of think about what you're doing and
A
when
little
you're
closer to
dodging.
Witcher 3 maybe in those
Witcher
boss
3 is a
fights
good
when you're kind of
parallel, yeah. you're
Yeah.
dodging,
Um,
you're
yeah.
dealing with a lot of mechanics and arm signs and stuff like that. So yeah,
Trying to figure out their weaknesses. The thing with, of course, Witcher, it's all about preparing for those fights. With this one, you just kind of just jump in and start doing all your combos,
yeah,
hitting all your buttons, doing all the things. So
yeah.
it's this is a little more of a power fantasy compared to those other games where it's
I
like
agree.
a little bit more of an immersive experience where you're like you have to be I don't know, an expert at this in some ways. You have to kind of become really good at it somehow through gear or just
Mhm.
skill or whatever. This, to me, even early on, I'm like, this is more of a power fantasy game, and I'm cool with that, man. Like, I like that too.
You can
I like this
upgrade your
kind of stuff
gear
too.
really strong. I mean, the pre-order gear that you get is the same, still the same gear I'm using like right now, way later into the game because I'm just refining it and upgrading it further and further. Like you don't need to like worry too much about like I
When do
don't
you
know I'm
get that
put,
pre-order gear? Do I already have access to it and I just
you
don't
do, yeah.
know?
You just
Is
go
it?
to add-ons in the start menu.
Oh,
Start
got
menu,
it.
and you go to other settings or whatever. There's like an add-ons, like
Oh, okay.
it's underneath the save button, or the
Oh,
save.
dude, speaking of armor, one of the funniest things is early in the game, there's a castle you can't get into, and they're like, you can't let this guy in here. He
Yeah,
looks sketchy. He looks awful. Don't let him through here. And you literally just have to put on a different shirt, which, by the way, relatively the same color, kind of the same shade of gray with
I
some
didn't even
light
realize
beige
I had
mixed
changed
into
it.
it.
Yeah.
Yeah, it barely looks any different. But this time you go to the gate and they do a circle around you, like, all right, this guy looks okay. We can let him in. I think he's
Yeah,
okay. It's just so funny that just
it is.
and like there's so many moments in this that are like this is just a video game. Like you just accept the video game logic for a lot of the things and you just go with it.
Mhm.
And sometimes I want that in a game. I don't need everything to feel so realistic. I've got enough simulator games on my
Oh,
in my
yeah.
library. I'm good, you know?
Yeah, I mean, now you will be chopping trees down for hours at a time, Tim, so some of those
Okay, the
things are
tree
coming
chopping
over.
sucks. The
Yeah,
tree
it's
chopping
not
is
great.
not
Yeah.
good. It's not
And the
good.
mining, yeah, you're gonna be doing a lot
Uh,
of running around
and you only get
resource
like one
gathering.
piece of wood for each of the logs that you destroy. So it's like
It's it's maniacal.
yeah.
But,
I've seen people
yeah.
do like cool shortcuts with their powers to like lift and slam the logs down. So I've tried a
Yep.
little bit of that. I still don't think it takes too much time off of that. It's still too much effort to get so little
Yeah, and I think
timber,
if
in
you
my
rig
opinion.
it that way, you only get regular timber and not fine timber if you don't
You don't
cut
get to
it. So
find
like,
timber,
yeah,
right?
yeah. I'm not saying every mechanic's fun. That's
No.
for sure.
Hey, I'll
I'm
tell you
just
the
saying there's a
idea
lot
of
of
like
them.
using the idea of using L1 or LB, depending on what controller you use, to kind of like
Mhm.
focus on stuff. You can use it for blocking with your shield. You can use it for holding up your
Yeah.
lantern, and you can use it for him just to kind of awkwardly put his hand up and like kind of a wool moment. He's
Yeah.
like wooling the whole
Well,
world.
yeah, he's bullying
Yeah,
everybody. You're right. Yeah.
he's wooling everybody, but you can
Or if
focus
your
on a
lantern in your hand,
person.
you'll like
Yeah.
blind
Whoa,
them. Like if you put and like
whoa.
they'll react or like like they put their like
Yeah.
which I'm like why would they code that? Like that's crazy to me.
They they didn't have to at all. They could have
Yeah.
just left. Yeah, they did. But yeah, like being able to focus in on like there's these posters, these kind of bulletin boards, and
Mhm.
it feels like 75% of the posters are useless. It'll just say symbol poster, and you can't do anything with it. So having the little aim mechanic lets you aim at the one that clearly is a bounty or something like that. So
Yeah.
you've gotten bounties that way. You can use it to because there's so many items you can pick up, and a lot of them are worthless, but some of them are valuable. So being able to use that little aim button to pick which thing you want to pick up. I'm gotten used to it now. Now that is my new version of instead of scanning the environment, I have no like eagle eye ability or whatever. The Witcher sense, you don't have that in this
Mhm.
game. So I
Yeah.
use that little LB kind of focus in, like, okay, can I pick this up? Can I pick
Yeah.
this up?
What do I
Like,
need? Yeah.
uh, finish this one little area. It's like this little tower you have to get to the top of, and then you get the first memory and you get your that helmet. But there's all these coins on the ground. I was like, sweet, let me collect the coins. And you have, I mean, you can do what you did, where you just hold the button in, but you don't want to pick up every item on the ground. But you kind of
True.
do if you hold in the square or X, whatever you're
Yeah.
using. So little things like that just annoy me. I'm like, can you just have a pile of coins? And do I want to pick up all the coins? Yes, I want to pick up the coins. Like, don't
Yeah.
make me pick
Come on.
one
Yeah.
at a time. Like,
You're just
what
yeah.
are we
You're
doing?
just bending over. Yeah.
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 So
A
these
lot
are
of
like,
people I
go
was gonna
ahead.
say I saw a lot of people say this game doesn't really know how to respect your time, and I'm like, I can see that. Yeah,
It's an
you have
MMO
yeah.
dev. Of course
It
they
is an
don't.
MMO dev, and I think there's a lot of MMO sensibilities here, and I think everything takes like even like to play a game of that betting game, like just to get all the sticks passed out, and it's basically just like it doesn't even matter. Like I'm not gonna go into the rules, but like it just
Yeah.
takes so long for like the game to get kicked off because like you have to like go through everyone getting like their draw and everyone doing. I'm just like, God,
Yeah.
can we just figure this out and get this going? But
Yeah.
like again, I think this game wants you to be immersed. It wants it to be art.
It
It's a lot
does.
of Red Dead Redemption 2 DNA in this, where it's just like you can't be in a rush with this game, like especially
Yeah.
walking around town and stuff like that. Like
You're not gonna
everything
have
is really
fun.
purposeful.
Which is why I wonder, Kyle, if a lot of the reviewers who played it for their jobs, they had a deadline, they got to get the review out. Do you think that probably took away some of the joy they would have had just
Yeah.
playing the game without it being a job? Like this game would stress me out to try to play through and write a review for it, just because there's so much to do. I'd feel
You
very
have the
rushed.
obligation to see everything,
Yeah,
which I
I don't think it'd be
yeah.
fun to review this game, to be honest with you.
No, I don't think these types of games tend to be.
It's fun to play voluntarily as the thing I'm doing as my hobby on the side when I have time because I'm just doing it on my own with no pressure. I
Mhm.
imagine having to review this was probably annoying for a lot of people. And so I do
Yeah, I
get
don't
that.
I
I
don't
do
envy
get
you.
that. One of the things I think
I
is cool too, and I showed this to my son just to show him the animation is so cool, is on this when you float, I just think the animation of this weird like bird cape you have is so cool looking.
It is cool. Yeah, I like it. A
Like
lot of
these
particles off
particles
it
and the way
too.
those feathers and I don't know, it just looks awesome. The way that
It
thing
is
looks
very
as you
cool.
float down.
But yeah,
Very like
explain it.
magical style.
What's going on? What is that power, Tim? Who did it come
I've
from?
dude, you
It's
don't ask. You don't need to know. You don't need
like
to
you were
know.
talking about like video gamey stuff or whatever. This game, this is not a spoiler.
Yeah.
This is in the tutorial. Your character just dies at the beginning of this game and just comes back
Big
to
time.
life, and you don't know why. And like, there's
Right.
no reason. There's no like, you're the chosen one speech. There's nothing.
There's none of that.
You just come back to life. Like
Yeah.
it's just like your character has just always been in a video game.
And
And
then
for
there's like
everyone
these
who,
occasional magical characters who tell you stuff and tell you how cool you are and then disappear into a puff of like flower petals and then
yeah,
you just move on. You just
yeah,
move on and I don't know why they're having you help. I think they kind of give you a little bit of lore dump at the beginning about how like, hey,
a little
there's a
bit.
problem. These two worlds are kind of like colliding, and we need to like figure this out. So go ahead and get your band of guys back together. Like, is that really the solution to saving both worlds? Is for you to build a
Yeah,
little
a bunch of
economy?
my mortal
Like,
dudes are gonna
I,
like
I don't.
stop this.
I think that's what people mean by the story being nonsense. Is that they're okay. The game does take itself seriously. It's not like a
It
parody.
does. Yeah,
But so I
it's not
think if you
Fable.
go in
Yeah.
with if you go in thinking it's going to be a Witcher level of depth of character development and story, you're going to be disappointed. I didn't go in thinking that. I kind of went in thinking this is going to be MMO style storytelling.
Yeah,
There's
it's
going to
gonna
be
be
bits and moments that
exactly.
I like, but it's not really. I don't know. I'm not here because I'm ready to start a new book series and I can't wait to find out what happens.
Yeah,
And if that,
right.
by the way, if that happens, if I get caught up in some of the little storylines, that's great. But
Yeah,
I think the most invested I've been so far is a little kid who couldn't find his sheep named Wooly. That was the most invested
yeah,
I've
that
been
was
so
pretty fun.
far,
I like that one.
and I
Yeah,
really wanted to help him find
he
that
was
sheep.
pitching a
So
fit about this sheep,
he
dude.
was, yeah. I was like, first of all, calm down, okay? First of all, let's just chill a little bit. But yeah, no, I really enjoyed the game overall. I think it's very, very good. I think the production value on it is super high. Like you said, it's amazing that this game works at all. I think if you have a
Mhm.
good PC rig, it's certainly worth a look. I think for a lot of people, it's probably not going to be worth the full price for you. Maybe this is one that's going to go on steep sale in the future. I don't know when.
Yeah,
I mean, it's selling so well. It's going to be a little while, but if you're not in a rush to play this and you'll play it, when your time frees up later this year or next year, you'll certainly be able to find a good deal on this. There'll be some kind of holiday sale at minimum, if not before that, where this game will probably be down to $40, maybe $30 even if you're lucky. So,
yeah,
and by then, I have a feeling it's going to be an even better experience, especially on console. I think they're going to
I think
find
so
ways
too.
to
I think it's gonna get better and
improve it.
better for sure. And
Yeah,
I think maybe that average, you know, it bumps up a little bit over time. We'll see,
yeah,
but
I think so too.
I
So
think there's
far, I'm
something
really
good
enjoying
here.
it.
Yeah,
I can't wait to play more. Like it's got me pulled right in. I was telling you, like I think this game's getting its hooks in me, and I wasn't sure if it was gonna. I didn't have a
yeah.
negative experience with it. I wasn't having the crashing and lockups that you were. Like that might have killed the game for me if I had the lockups that you did.
I was, yeah.
Um,
I
so
had a
I'm
good we
glad
had
I
a
didn't
good
have that.
team that were troubleshooting stuff for me together. So
Yeah,
uh,
that's right. You
so
assembled the
we got it
crew.
working.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, so but it is slowly but surely kind of like I find myself. I hadn't had a chance to play it today. Today's been a very busy family day, but I keep
Mhm.
thinking about it, like, man, I want to go back and play some more Crimson Desert. Like I just beat that boss. I know I'm on the verge of like being able to start setting up my little town, my little crew, and like I've already
Yeah,
met a
you're
couple
right
characters.
there
I know
because I
I'm
think
gonna
that's
recruit.
what you
So
get for killing that guy.
yeah,
Is yeah,
they
you
even
make a
told me
deal with
like,
like
hey,
the
we're
local
gonna
mayor.
supply you for setting up your little space or whatever your
And
land.
like
So I'm very
something really
excited
cool.
for that.
One last really cool thing that happened was is that like as you're developing your relationships with like every vendor and stuff like that, I maxed out the big guy outside of the blacksmith in the main town.
Okay,
So
yeah.
whenever I got my camp or whatever, he allowed me to buy a license from him that allowed one of his helpers to set up shop in my camp. So now I have like a vendor there who like buys, sells, and
Oh.
stuff like that.
Yeah,
And
he
yeah,
has
and like
assistants. That's right.
yeah, so like I have like a stand in my camp now where
The
like
only
now
reason I
my
know he
camp
has
is like
assistants is because I did his little mission where I needed to find some ore, and I
yep.
just hadn't turned it into him yet. I hadn't gone back to town yet, but I was out in the outskirts doing something else, and then all of a sudden the turn-in option was right there by another big guy, and I
Hmm.
talked to him, and he was just like, "Yeah, I'm actually assistant. I'm Rhett's assistant, and you can." He's waiting for that ore, and I turned it into him, and the quest was completed. So
Oh,
like,
that's super cool.
I had no like I was like, this is really I've never seen a game do this where you don't really like in some cases you might not have to go all the way back to the original quest giver. There might be some
Yeah.
other way. I don't know. Little things like that. It catches me off guard, but it's a nice little kind of like smile on my face. Like they just save me time.
Yeah.
Like as much as they don't respect my time, they also kind of
Yeah.
make some things more convenient. It's a
I
weird
like that.
game. It's a weird
I
game.
I haven't seen
Like
that
I don't know
yet. That's
why.
amazing though.
Yeah,
It is
it's very
very
cool.
weird. Yeah, there's it's a very weird like again clunky game. But yeah, I think it has a lot of soul in it. I think it
It
doesn't feel.
does.
I think a lot of people were worried that it was going to be like AI slops the new term that I'm going to be annoyed by in the next couple
Definitely not
weeks because
that.
we're using that term a little too much. But like,
Yeah.
it's not sloppy. Like every mechanic feels pretty. I'm not saying every
Yeah.
mechanic's fun, but like everything feels really thought out and serve some kind of purpose within the world and stuff like
Yeah.
that. Yeah, it does feels like a hodgepodge of a lot of different things, but like I don't know, it feels if it's a hodgepodge, it's a nice cornucopia. That makes sense. You know what I mean?
Dude, it feels
It
like
does feel
this
good.
game has like many teams of people that were like, "Hey, boss, can we add this?" Like, "Yeah, you guys make that. You're in charge of that. Make that part work."
Yeah,
And then they
right.
just stitched it all together, and a lot of it works. Some of it's really weird and feels out of place, but still kind of works. Like,
Yeah,
I don't know. You saw in some of the clips we were watching everything from dragon riding and bear riding, and of course, in addition to the horse you get right at the start. So there's
yeah.
mounts that you can get. And I do think the game lends itself to some element of multiplayer later, which they've talked about adding in the future. So I'm curious to
Oh,
see what that looks like. I don't know if it's going to be co-op, if it's going to be a separate
there
mode
is
where it's
no
like,
way
okay,
this game
here's.
runs.
I mean, I'll be
Yeah,
interested to see. I would think it was
yeah. No,
more of
I'm
a they
excited
didn't
about
rule it
that.
out, and I think there's potential for them adding some sort of in-game. We talked about this on the show weeks back, like some sort of in-game store where you can buy some aesthetic stuff, buy armor. Like the game's
Mhm.
never going to be a pay to win, but they're almost certainly. I think they'd be kind of dumb not to if you've got a dedicated fan base, which they do. This game hit like 240,000 concurrent just Steam users
Yeah,
on
two
launch
million
night.
sales
I
in
mean,
like
2
2 days
million
or
sales
whatever.
in the first couple days. So like
Yeah,
they definitely have the audience they need if they were to start releasing like, hey, pay $5 and you get this whole armor set and a horse whatever and, weapons. They could totally do that. And I wouldn't necessarily hold it against them. I know they were adamant not to launch with that though. So I'll be interested to
yeah.
see in the coming months like how long that takes for them to roll out some of those
There's
things,
no even signs of that type of stuff being in there. So
Oh,
the
no.
type of restraint that they've shown on that, especially coming from a free to play MMO
Yeah.
background, like they showed a lot of restraint in that regard. So
Yeah.
for them,
Yeah, for all of its flaws and all of its quirks and kind of weird things, and of course the buggy things are a problem. The crashing is not good. Like that stuff to me is like
mhm.
you better fix that. That's a big problem. But a lot of
Yeah,
the other weird quirkiness, like the button layouts and the
yeah,
character decisions, and I don't know everything about like there's all these weird little things about it that just to me it makes it even more endearing in a weird way. It's like this
yeah.
is some weird passion project from a very big team with a really good budget. It's a gorgeous game, by the way. It might have some of the best looking environments
Beautiful.
that I've seen in a game like
Mhm.
this, in an open world game at least like this.
For sure.
The character models up close don't do much for me. They're fine. They're okay. But the armor sets are super cool. The weapons look awesome, and the environment's amazing. And
Yeah, for
so
sure.
yeah, that's all I really wanted. And I think we talked about this. That's what I want out of a game like this. It's delivering what
Yeah.
I want. So yeah, overall, I am super happy with it. I know Kyle, you're enjoying it too. I'm sure we'll be playing it
Yeah.
more this week. We can talk about it on next week's episode. Hopefully, either Jeff or Dan can join us and give us their thoughts as well. But what do you all
Hopefully one of
think
them
who are
hates it.
watching or listening? What do you guys think? Is this a 4 out of 10? Is it a 10 out of 10? Is it somewhere in between? Are you gonna try it if you haven't tried it yet? Are you convinced to give it a whirl? It'd be interesting to see if they release a demo at some point. I wouldn't know what the heck to demo out of
I
this
would
game.
not,
Like,
I
what do you?
would not demo this game.
I don't know
I think
how you do
people
that.
I think people, because a lot of people who did get early hands-on time with this game, they're like, I think there was just too much going on in it when they got hands-on time with
Yeah,
it, and a demo wasn't the right place to like show off
yeah,
this game. I really do think you
yeah.
need like a 3 or 4 hour runway with this game to like really understand it. And I know that's like your like dumb friend telling you, I swear to God, man, watch 2 seasons of this 20 season show,
By
and you'll
season
really
three, it's good.
you're
Yeah,
gonna
yeah,
really get into it. I know it
yeah,
stinks of that.
yeah.
I know how I sound, but like I do think it requires kind of a long runway to like really get what
I
it's all
agree.
about. And I think if you
I
are
agree.
patient with it, you come out on the other side of it a really cool action adventure game. So
Yeah, and I think if you can't be patient with it, that's totally fine. Like this game doesn't have
I
to
do
be
too.
for everybody.
I
But
don't think it will. I'm shocked so many people were interested in it to begin with, and I do think it is probably
yeah,
a product of being overhyped. Not that I feel like
yeah,
that it's that way, but like I do think that the hype did get away from
yeah.
from everybody a little bit, and I think a lot of people
I
are
hope for
showing
their
up.
sake the stock numbers recover a bit because that seemed like an unfair. Oh, the
Yeah,
reviews aren't averaging 8 or 9s, so
it
stock went
doesn't
down
always,
like by a
as you can see,
third.
that doesn't dictate sales. People bought the game and kept buying it,
Yeah,
so
I'm hoping the sales will encourage the investors to stick with it, and that this. I don't want a company like this to ever get like financially punished in some weird way because
yeah,
they tried something new. And this is a bold game. Like it's weird, but it's
it's
really bold.
very
They're
bold.
trying a lot,
Yeah,
and yeah, man, I do recommend it for
really
people
going for it.
who if you have time and you can kind of dive into one game and focus in on it, and you like the games we've mentioned, Red Dead, Witcher, Zelda, Elden Ring. It's got pieces of a lot of those in there. Even some of
Yeah,
the combat, like you said, Final Fantasy 15. I wouldn't quite go as far as like a Devil May Cry or something, but some of the action
no.
does feel fast and fluid.
Some of the,
So
especially some of
you
the dodging is
some of
more
it,
Devil May
yeah,
Cry than Elden Ring, even though there's a pretty strict stamina
totally.
system here as well.
It is. It
But
is.
like not unlike Elden Ring, but yeah, I don't know. There's a quickness to it still, despite it not being
Right.
a Devil May Cry near automata type of game. So
And the good news, guys, it's not a Souls like, it's not a roguelike. It's
it's
none of
not
the
either.
things that we've
It's
been
none of those things.
that's
Yeah,
it's usually on every game these days. So it's neither of those things. But anyway, well, listen, that does it for us this week. We just wanted to give you guys our thoughts on this pretty remarkable major game from 2026. I am curious to see as time passes, will people look back on this one more or less favorably? I'm more interested in like what gamers think and what some kind of streamers and content creators who really play games for real, what they think than I am necessarily the score on a game like this,
hmm
just because of the things that we talked about. But yeah, I'm curious to see as time passes how does this one hold up. But I'm glad that it's had success early because
yeah,
I think it's pretty great, and I know Kyle, you think it's pretty great too from what you've
yeah.
played so
And go
far.
watch some
So
video. The videos make this game look very fun. So like watching content
yeah,
creators like doing weird stuff, and like it's very, you're
yeah,
gonna get a lot of content out of this game for sure.
yep, absolutely. But all right, thank you guys for tuning in. Have a great week. We'll see you on the next one. We'll talk more about this and other games that are coming out, stuff that we've skipped this week. But thanks for tuning in. We'll see you on the next one. Peace.